How you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal. And today we're going to talk about a PC port. The game was originally made in 1985. And it was ported 5 years later by Kemco. Same Kemco that gave us Shadowgate, The Uninvited, Rescue the Embassy Mission, Rocket Ranger, stuff like that. Well, it was so much like Shadowgate and The Uninvited that those three games were all put on a compilation together and released a couple of years ago, actually, as the 8-Bit Adventure Anthology Volume 1. And while those games, all three of those games are very different, they all have one thing in common. They were all developed by ICOM Simulations, and they're very PC centric. They're point and click adventures, which point and click games are kind of hit or miss on the NES, but this works. Today we're going to take a look at Deja Vu. Now, in Deja Vu, you play as a detective named Ace Harding. And he wakes up in a bathroom stall in 1941 Chicago with no recollection of who he is. He has to figure that part out. He's meandering about this bar that's closed to the public right now because it's like early morning. Finds a dead body in the office and realizes he needs to get out of there before the cops come because he's about to be framed for murder. The entirety of this game revolves around unlocking the mystery of who Ace is, why Ace is there, why he's being framed for murder, and who's trying to frame him for murder. It all unfolds using a series of still photos, still screens, a lot of text, a lot of instructions on what your character needs to do, and texting telling you what your character is going to do, things like that. It's interesting. There are a lot of flashbacks in there that kind of, once you can figure out what's going on, it's an interesting concept, something that a young animal wasn't able to appreciate when he was 10 years old when this game was released. Yes, I'm an old man. But further, this game does a lot of really cool things graphically. It's bright and colorful, unlike the PC versions of this game, which were black and white and full of text and very boring. Well, Deja Vu works really well, and it does a good job of rolling out the story. And it's actually a lot more accessible than Shadowgate. Shadowgate is brutal. Shadowgate, you can die on the first screen. Like, no problem. At least you get a couple of screens before you die in Deja Vu if you don't know what you're doing. And there are a lot of walkthroughs available. If you are playing Deja Vu and get stuck, there are a lot of walkthroughs that can kind of tell you what to do, but that takes the fun out of it. And this game is all about exploration, solving puzzles, trying to figure out where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, stuff like that. And it's really cool. Now, if you're curious about getting your hands on a copy of Deja Vu, the NES cart, the price is, you can get one for as cheap as $5. Complete copies, I saw one actually go for about $20. This game was actually pretty plentiful. It's a lot of copies floating around, which is pretty remarkable considering how niche this game is. But again, if you want to be able to play this in a more accessible, easier to get your hands on fashion, the 8-Bit Adventure Anthology Volume 1 is on everything, and it's cheap. It's really, really inexpensive. So you can grab a copy of that for about $5 digitally. Limited Run Games did physicals of it a couple of years ago. I don't know how easy those are to get your hands on, but it's digital. You can get your hands on it. It's easy to get your hands on it. So there's no headache in getting a copy of this game. This has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow.
8-Bit Animal.
Tomorrow. All right, I know that's your boy and all, but seriously, why is he wearing a red and white striped sweater to the beach? What's going on?